Greetings, students. This is Professor Nguyen. I want to come and give you instructional support as we move towards our first week discussing important components of compensation management. So I want to give you the course description, the learning objectives, the expectation for this course, as well as the task for week 1, which will start tomorrow on Monday. So again, this is business 409, compensation management. I'm the course instructor, Professor Nguyen. So our course description for this course. So by the end of this course, the students and you and I, we will discuss fundamental concepts of compensation management, such as strategic compensation, competitive choices, decision-making, organization strategies, functions of human resource management, goals of compensation management, stakeholders of compensation system. Stakeholders can be the HR generalist, compensation management manager, benefits manager, risk management leader. So the people who are involved in designing, implementing, and evaluating the compensation management process. Laws, labor unions, basis for pay, incentive pay, person-focused pay, employee contributions, retirement plans, insurance programs, legally required benefits, and challenges that compensation leaders have to respond proactively in order to stay afloat in the marketplace. So by the end of week 11, you as a compensation management leader can research current compensation strategies, best practices, and challenges so you as a leader can support your company's strategic goals and missions. With understanding and knowing and researching background of compensation management principle, by week 11, you as a compensation management leader can determine the components of an effective compensation plan that aligns with the company's strategic goal or goals, employees' contributions, employees' needs, and the current compensation demands. So as an instructor, I expect you to do well so you can be a successful compensation management leader. In doing so, I need for you to navigate this course as often as possible. Read the course contents. If you don't read the course contents, you will be lost. You will not know what you need to do for your writing assignments. You will not need to know what you need to do for discussing and providing the feedback to our peers post the discussion. So it is imperative that you read accordingly. Post quality discussion with substantial peers feedback. Don't just limit to good job, I agree with you, but provide 3 or more quality sentences with correct punctuation marks and evidence from the textbooks or from supplemental reading materials that you can use to substantiate your response. Post your assignments on time. Plan for writing. This is one component that many students often don't use. Students tend to wait until the last minute and trying to write and post a discussion without planning. Planning is important. So we go back to first grade, second grade, third grade, ninth grade, and so on. Before you write or before you give a speech, you have to plan for writing. So you have to have a rough draft. You have to put down ideas, what is that you need to do. So you have to plan for writing. So then you can write. As you write, you can edit and revise. Then when you finish that process, you can publish your work with quality. As a student at Australian University, you have access to tutor.com. You have access to Grammarly. Submit your work to Grammarly so Grammarly can give you feedback. Then you go back and correct the feedback as recommended. Communicate with the professor in a timely manner and respond to communication effectively. Be aware that I will text you, I will call you, I will email you, I will text messaging you to make sure that you and I communicate, to make sure that you and I are on the same boat. So we can meet and exceed targets. We can meet land whole by week number 11. So you can be successful and I can be successful because together you and I can achieve the goals and expectation in business 409, which is compensation management. So by week 1, these are the tasks that you need to do for week 1. So these are the tasks that you need to do for week 1. So for week 1, you need to make sure that you read chapter 1. Chapter 1 focuses on compensation management, a human resource management approach. And there's a PowerPoint in the class module. In the class module, you will see the PowerPoint presentation. Now, then you will post your discussion. Your discussing is worth 20 points with peers feedback. If you don't provide peers feedback, you do not get full 20 points. And you need to make sure that your original post is of quality and along with your peers feedback. Don't just minimize with, dear John, I agree with your post. It is so great. Congratulations. That is not quality. You need to make sure that you read thoroughly the peers respond, summarize what the peers has to say, and then in your own words, restate what you think about what he or she has posted. Take quiz 1. If you don't read the textbook of chapter 1, if you don't try to read the PowerPoint presentation of the concepts presented in chapter 1, you may not do a good job with quiz 1. So make an effort to read. Reading is fundamental. Reading is imperative. Reading is knowledge. And make an effort to prepare for an audio PowerPoint presentation in week 4. So in week 4, you have to do a PowerPoint presentation which comprises of 10 to 15 slides discussing components of compensation management. So you need to go to week 4 assignment in the week 4 module to look for rubrics and instructional guidelines in how to do that. So again, make an effort to read chapter 1, post your discussion question, take quiz 1, do all of this by Saturday. Do not wait until Sunday. From my experience teaching at Australian University for over 6 years, I have seen quality work when students make an effort to post their work before Saturday or even Sunday. I know that you have work, family, your own personal life, and other many things. I myself, a full-time instructor for a school system, I teach part-time at Australian University. I teach part-time at another school. I do private tutoring. I go to school getting my second degree in English. So my master's degree. So I have so many things. In addition to that, I'm taking care of an elderly mother who stays with me. So I'm very busy doing many things at one time, but I still manage to get my work done because I try to balance what is important. I try to prioritize. So I work slowly. I do one thing at a time. So I might do my reading maybe on Sunday night or Monday night. And when I finish my reading, I do my discussion. And once I see a peers post something, I go on and spend 20 minutes, reply to that post. And then the next day I'm taking the quiz. And then by Thursday, I should be done with everything. Now I can have more free time and focus on reading and analyzing what is that I need to do for week 4. So if you don't plan your time, a little bit here, a little bit there, and you wait until Sunday and you're like, Professor, I am so lost. I don't know what to do. Well, you had to plan for your time. Everything that happens in this class is already posted. So please don't wait until the last minute and send me a text message or an email, say, Professor, where can I find this? Where can I find that? You need to navigate. You need to navigate the course content as often as possible. Navigate the course, okay? Now, if you go to week 1 and you will see the guideline for this week discussing question. So the instruction asks you to introduce yourself by sharing something unique about your background. Explain how this course helps you. Based on your reading in chapter 1 and your own personal experience, what are some compensation-related challenges today's companies are facing? Be sure to provide a rationale. A rationale is a reason. Be sure to respond to at least one of your classmates' posts. So I have posted a sample of discussion. So my personal greeting, I'm doing my personal greeting here. This is Dr. Nguyen, and I'm glad to be your facilitator for Business 409, compensation management, so on and so on. I'm introducing myself, and I'm sharing. I say, I decided to go back and teach at elementary school because I want to retire from my school system. So I will talking about, in addition, I learned how to deal with human resource management. Therefore, I'm very proud of my unique background. So I'm discussing that first bullet in these 3 parts. Then I'm responding to the next part based on what I read. So in chapter one in the textbook discusses several important elements of strategic compensation, which is a component of HR. HR is human resource. Organizations like Australian University, Amazon, Facebook, and the Home Depot need strategic compensation so they can have plans, strategy, guides, and approaches in how to manage total employee compensation. So I went on and I discussed, and I focus on here. So I say, these are the challenges that managers and business owners face as they look for practical ways to design. So I am looking at the question, I'm responding with keywords. So as you can see here, the challenges from my own experience. What are some of the challenges? So I can say, union is one of the challenges. Federal law is one of the new challenges. And be compliant. You don't, when a company is not in compliant, you have legal issues. Competitive wages and benefits. These are some of the challenges that I got from reading the textbook, and I'm responding to the question here. Okay, so be sure then once you post this and somebody read the post and respond, I am going to give a feedback to that peer's response. So as you can see here, this is an example of a quality post. Don't just write 1 or 2 sentences describing, oh, I am a mother of 2, I am a father of 2, I am 95 years old, or I'm 19 years old, and I'm glad I'm back in school. And the challenge of today's that company faces are how to pay workers with higher wages because of the pandemic, the end. If you provide that kind of response or feedback, that is not quality. You need to make sure that you emphasize key components from the textbook. So as you can see here, this is what you're supposed to discuss, and this is a quality example of your post. Don't forget that you need to present a response to your peers post the discussion. So now I go on and post this so you can see what you need to do for week number 4. So for week number 4, you're supposed to conduct and present a 10 to 15 minutes audio PowerPoint presentation, which comprises of about 10 to 15 slides. So in this compensation, you need to analyze compensation strategies. What strategy that you use to retain and to attract? Maybe you can use paying competitive wages. If ABC company pay 20 and you do a research, you pay your company 22. And if that competitive wages can be the advantage that your company has to retain and to attract new employees. Determine 3 best compensation practices used by companies. What are 3 best practices of compensation practice that company use? Practice can be using outsource. Practice can be using technology. Practice can be using competitive wage. Okay, so you have to mention and you have to give a rationale. Why? All right. Then you have to discuss 3 compensation related challenges. You have to discuss 3. Explain discretionary benefits. Well, when employees go to work, it is legally required by companies to pay them. That is legally required benefits. Well, you also have to give them something else beside that to attract and retain them. Discretionary benefits can include sick leave or vacation leave or bereavement leave or maternity leave or paternity leave. So, or maybe religious holidays leave. What are some of your discretionary benefits? Maybe you can have lunch for, on every first Friday of the month to motivate the workers. So what are some of your discretionary benefits? You have to explain them and how those discretionary benefits become a return on investment for the company. Then you need to examine how laws, labor unions, market factors affect your compensation strategies. Deliver a succinct, engaging, and informative presentation based on the compensation strategy, best practices, and challenges. Be sure to include additional detail if you want to do. All right. So again, these are the components that you need to make sure that you include in your minimum 10, maximum 15 slides. Your first slide should be your cover page. Your first slide should be your cover page. Remember, you are presenting a PowerPoint presentation. Less is more. Use bullets and visual image to discuss. Your job is to present concept. Your job is not to have a paragraph for each slide. All right. Now, if you're doing a research and you see ideas that you can use, make sure that you write down the source name, date of publishing, the URL link, and the date that you access, so you can cite in the text and provide a reference source at the end of the PowerPoint presentation. So make an effort to read this by the end of week 1. So you have an idea and put together how you're going to implement this audio PowerPoint presentation, which is worth 230 points. If you don't do this PowerPoint presentation, you are not going to get an A. Okay, so this is a big chunk of your points for the overall grade. So again, I'm going to show you the course module. The course module. So your screen might be a little bit different, but once you're in your iCampus Blackboards, you need to go to each week. You need to go to each week. So as you can see here, so once I click on week 1, it will show me this. Okay, so it will show me this, and I will go to discussion, and I will click on discussion. So when I click on discussion, it will show me here. And then you want to respond to me, you got to hit respond. But if not, you need to click on this right here and on this discussion, and you discuss. All right. By the way, when you respond to a peer's post, make sure you address Dear John, Dear Lisa. Don't just go out and start talking. You need to address properly so the next person can also present another feedback. All right. So week number 4, go in here and you will see your compensation best practice challenges presentation. All right. So I hope that you have a chance to view this video and read through the slide that I presented here and do what is asked, so you can be successful by the end of week 11. Don't procrastinate. If you wait until the last minute, you are not going to do good in this class. Remember, it's very easy course. It's not a hard course, but if you plan accordingly, you will be successful. I'm here to facilitate this class. I'm here to give you supports and instructional guidance, so you and I can have ideas, strategies, and plethora of resources, so we can effectively design, implement, and evaluate compensation practices that benefits the company's overall strategic goals. This is the end in the goal, the end in mind. So we need to make sure that we be proactive. I'm here to give you support. So by any means necessary, contact me at any time before 11:59 Eastern Standard Time. So this is Professor Nguyen from Strain University, course facilitator, course instructor, Business 409, compensation management. Sign out.